What's up, y'all? JP Tutter. Tap in a little bit. Instagram always late. All right. Okay. IG tapped in now. We can party. IG tapped in. Everybody tapped in. Let me make sure y'all getting this sound because there's a lot to talk about today. Definitely a lot to talk about. Facebook tapped in. Okay. So it's been a few days, y'all. I ain't neglected. I'm trust me. Y'all gotta trust me. I've been tapped in, y'all. I've been on what I've been on. So if you are not familiar with who I am, I run a lead generation marketing business consulting company called Real Life Business Solutions. And we did a complete overhaul the past 2 3 weeks maybe. So we have switched our focus to lead generation, and I had to hire a team. So I have already had a marketing team. I had to hire a cold email team. So basically, I signed up for a program that was a couple dollars, and basically they set up the email boxes and get me and my clients started on this campaigns for these cold emails. And I had uh I had to fire a VA, hire a new VA, and then hire another assistant to build our websites because these ads going crazy. And today I hired someone to do reach outs for me. I was gonna do it with AI. It would have probably been a lot cheaper, but conversion is better with a human calling and actually booking these calls. So that's what I did. It's been a crazy couple weeks, but I made it through it. And we got a lot going on, y'all. So I got a whole new funnel being built. We working on that over the next week or so. Is it listen, y'all, business is continuous. It's not like you can do something and then just set it up. You have to reiterate things. You have to go back and correct some things, make some things a lot doper, things like that. So that's what I've been doing the last couple weeks. I have not forgot about y'all. I love y'all, man. I love y'all when y'all tap in. I love y'all when y'all don't tap in. It's just been a lot going on over the past couple weeks, in a good way. So the big thing right now is this indictment with the Rolling 60s, Big U, Brick Baby, Luce Cannon, and those guys. So if you are not familiar with Big U is one of the OGs from California. As I just stated, he's the head of the Rolling 60s. If you are not familiar with the Rolling 60s, that is the gang that Nipsey Hussle claimed. And we're going to get into the connection between Big U and Nipsey in a second. I won't be here long, y'all. I want to touch on everything as quickly as I can touch on it. It's a newly developed indictment that means a lot more information to be presented coming forward, including who is cooperating. I guarantee you, people are cooperating. I had a smaller indictment, and there were a lot of people cooperating. In my RICO case, I didn't even know who was cooperating until the head of the indictment was sentenced and their paperwork became public. So, this is how the feds work. So, the RICO was something that was designed by the federal government to indict mobsters. And this was in, I believe, the early 70s, towards the late 70s, it was sometimes in the 70s, maybe. They came up with these charges because the mobsters were getting caught, the lower tier ones were getting these charges, and the the bosses were not going to jail. They were not the ones on the street. They were not the ones pulling the trigger. So the government came up with this RICO charge so that they could charge everybody just for one person's act or a couple people doing something, they can say, no, this was an organization. So that's what the basis of this type of charge is saying that you guys were an organization doing uh illegal things together. It was a criminal organization. So they're saying that the Rolling 60s was a criminal organization and at the head of that indictment was Big U. This was something that was probably in the pipeline for a long time. If you are familiar with Wack 100, he said this. It may have been even a couple years ago when he said the indictment coming, and the indictment is here. The reason that the indictment is here is because a lot of those guys play internet games. If you ever watch Bricc Baby, he gonna tell on himself. Bricc Baby gonna talk about how many bodies he got and how many this and whatever phase he had with Nipsey and this that thing. And these people love the internet. They love the internet. They love the camera. They love seeing themselves in the spotlight. And they will talk about anything and everything to stay in that spotlight. So you got guys like Bricc Baby and Luce Cannon who got loose lips and they get on these shows and they talk about everything but what they're supposed to talk about, which may be music, it may be comedy, it could be anything else, but they're not doing anything that promotes what they do. They get on these shows and they gossip and they expose everybody's business. And that's why they are indicted also. So Bricc Baby is indicted, Luce Cannon is indicted, a bunch of the Rolling 60s are indicted, and Big U is at the head of that indictment. For a minute, they had Big U on the run, and Big U ended up saying that this was because of these guys playing internet games and because of Wack 100. He called Wack 100 a Fed. He said he was the FBI. And I don't think that that's too far from the truth. So why would I think Wack 100 had something to do with the police? I'm not saying that Wack 100 is on the payroll, but Wack 100 is an instigator. So Wack 100 ended up bringing Luce Cannon on the show maybe a year or so ago, and Luce Cannon had fell out with Big U. So Luce Cannon come on the show and he says, Big U set up Nipsey, and he said, "Well, how you know?" He said, "Because Big U called me maybe 25 to 30 minutes before Nipsey was killed. And he told me, man, they just shot Nipsey." Luce Cannon says, "I called Nipsey. Nipsey picked up the phone and I was like, man, maybe Big U was tripping." He said he told Nipsey he loved him and hung up, didn't think none of it. Maybe 25 to 30 minutes later, he got the call that Eric Holder had killed Nipsey at the Marathon store. So my issue with this is that it's hearsay, first of all. Second of all, why are you on the internet with that information? Right. But once again, as I just explained, these guys love the internet. Right. And for the sake of arguing, let's just say at the time of Nipsey's death, Black Sam spoke on the fact that there were some issues with someone. He did not name Big U, but he said that there were issues a few days before because somebody wanted to press DJ Khaled and those guys who wanted to shoot these videos out there. And Nipsey was like, "Nah, we cooling, bro. We ain't on that. We cooling." And he never said who it was, but we can kind of guesstimate who it was. And after Luce Cannon, this is not somebody that's on the outside looking in. This is another Rolling 60s Crip. If you are not familiar, again, Big U is the leader of the Rolling 60s Crip, they say. And then Nipsey was a Rolling 60. Eric Holder was a Rolling 60. And Luce Cannon is a Rolling 60. And this is inside business. And when Luce Cannon spoke on it, he even said, "I'm not saying anything that they don't know. Like everybody know who he had this issue with." And the fact that Wack brung him out there, If you're not familiar with Wack, Wack is a blood, but Wack is stirring the pot. And I don't know why these guys let an outsider stir the pot, but he's stirring the pot. So I did a little bit of research myself, and I usually do a little bit of research before I jump on here and look stupid. And what I came to find out is that while the situation with DJ Khaled could be a motive, it just as well could have been a motive for Big U to have Eric Holder do something to Nipsey. There was a lot more going on. So in this indictment, Big U is being accused of laundering money through a nonprofit. This nonprofit was a nonprofit that was designed to help curb the gang violence in LA. And this money was sent to the head of this nonprofit, which is Big U. And Big U was supposed to use the money to help curb gang violence. Now, he gave himself a $95,000 a year salary, and he paid a bunch of ghost employees, which was probably himself. So he had upwards of over $4 million in grant money on the line. If you are familiar with nonprofits, these nonprofits are going to go to people that the funding, the fund, the people who have the money are not the people who are on the street. The people who have the money, they use these nonprofits to support the causes that they want to give money to. So these nonprofits are the legs on the ground. I work with nonprofits. I'm contracted with a nonprofit now. Shout out to my guy Uchi Khan and Raham Incorporated. I am contracted with them now. I am also contracted through other people like Flip the Script. I come in and I speak to people there. I've worked with Ceasefire in Detroit. I've worked with a few of the other nonprofits, Stop School Violence, Stop Youth Violence, a few other nonprofits around the city. I do a lot of nonprofit work. I love it. And I've actually done nonprofit work outside of the city too. But I love the nonprofit work I do. And whether I'm paid or not paid, most of the time I'm paid. I'm just being honest. But I love doing the nonprofit work. I have a nonprofit myself. My nonprofit is Real Life Reentry Resources, where I am helping people get back into the community, back reunited with their family, back into homes and jobs and other resources that I knew that we needed when we came home. If you are not familiar with me, I'm a returning citizen myself. So I help people come home and find employment, um, work training, clothes if you need to go on interviews and different things like that. We help you get resumes, whatever you need to get to back reintegrated in society. That's what my nonprofit is about. Real life reentry resources. Now, this particular situation is very hairy because of the money that was on the line. While Big U has managed Nipsey, Big U was not necessarily concerned with the money that n- not managing Nipsey would it would afford him. So he was not as concerned with that money. But Nipsey was doing so much in the community that a lot of the money that Big U was getting from these nonprofits, you have to apply for these grants. So if you got somebody like Nipsey who had a community behind him, who's standing on something a lot different than Big U was standing on. Big U was basically a bully, where Nipsey was Nipsey. Look, man, we gonna do this and that. We gonna we motivating the streets. We doing what we doing, and Nipsey became a bigger name than Big U in the neighborhood. And Nipsey had his own crew. And Nipsey crew, Black Sam crew, both the Fats, those guys could hold their own. So that's scary for somebody like Big U, and you got to nip that in the bud. So it was way more at stake than just, oh, he getting out his contract, or he feel like this, or he did. It was a lot at stake, and it was a lot of money at stake. And that's what Big U is being indicted for, is a lot of that nonprofit money. They are saying he did not use it the way that he was supposed to use it. He used that money to help increase his criminal activity and grow his criminal enterprise, which is the Rolling 60. So that is why they're indicted. Now, it's even said that one of his artists dissed him on a song, and he went to Vegas, killed the man, and dropped the body off in the desert. Now, this is something that um people are claiming witness to. This is not some type of speculated thing like the Nipsey thing. This is something that people are claiming witness to. If you seen the video of Big U talking just a little bit after Nipsey passed, he was like making light of the situation or even making fun of it. So what I can see from everything that's going on, that if he had something to do with Nipsey's death, then it won't be long before somebody on the inside cooperates. This is how these indictments work. I faced a RICO myself. I ended up pleading out, and the charges were only dropped to a conspiracy. So I didn't necessarily have to fight the RICO all the way through the door. I pled out to this conspiracy charge. They was on my ass. I'm just telling y'all, man, the feds ain't playing, bro. The feds scared me to life, not to death. They scared me to life, y'all. And I thank God that I only ended up with the 60 months I ended up with. And I went in there and used it for something good. I got my first degree. If you can see behind me, I have a couple degrees. Well, I got 3 degrees, a paralegal certificate, and some other certifications. But I want to thank the feds for allowing me to get my first degree, which is my associate's degree. I went in there and went to the school program, and I don't have a problem with the feds, y'all. The feds got on my ass, and I fought them. I lost a lot of money during that fight. And shout out to Kevin Basant. He on Facebook or Instagram, I believe. Shout out to Kevin Basant. Kevin Basant was my lawyer. He another brother like me, and Kevin was he was loving my music. I rock with Kevin, and shout out to Kevin Basant. That was my lawyer, and Kevin. It was times where Kevin was like scaring me. He was like, "Man, the feds, man, all they need is this." I'm like, "Look, bro, don't worry about it, man. Just worry about the black and white. I'm gonna make sure the green tight. That's it." And that was our agreement, man. Don't stress me out. Worry about the black and white. I'm gonna make sure the green tight. And I said that on my song, Rico, right? And I said that. I said, look, man, I told him, let me worry about the green, you worry about the black and white. Whatever it costs, I gotta pay for it, because I'm fighting for my life. And at the time where the RICO charge was presented, I was looking at 17, 18 years. It was scary. But I ended up copping out the 6, y'all. I'm just keeping it a buck with y'all about how the RICO case worked. And even when Mr. Basant explained it to me, he was like, look, all they got to prove is that you were spoken the wheel. That was exactly what he said to me. He said, all they got to prove is you were spoken the wheel. And it's a way different indictment than even a conspiracy. A conspiracy, you can beat a conspiracy charge. You could be a regular drug charge or a gun charge or different things like that. When you get these RICO charges, though, these RICO charges, they start putting cases together. Like it could have been something that happened over here, something that happened in another state, something that happened over there. And they just bring it all together. And that's what scared people. Because the more people you get on a case, the more chances they have of somebody cooperating. So shout out to Poe Politic, and he was around when I was going crazy with the music, and that's when I got indicted. I got indicted in 2015. I had dropped my trilogy. I went on tours. I did all this stuff, and the feds know what they know. I'm telling you, they know what they know, and they didn't like they didn't scare me per se because I've been fighting cases since I was 11. They didn't necessarily scare me, but they did open my eyes. it's no it's no right way to do wrong. Right? I thought I was the slickest guy in the world. If you were following me, what's up? You ain't think I remembered you, po politic. I remember you, and you need to do an interview or something with me, man. I'm gonna give you some music to review too. You think you slick? I know everybody. So, shout out to po politic. So definitely, um, pay attention to how the case will unfold. And I will not be surprised if this Nipsey murder actually comes up in the case. Eric Holder has already been found guilty of the murder, and he's a rolling 60s Crip. And they're going to tie this in some kind of way. I guarantee you that sometime down the line, they're going to tie this in because people are going to cooperate. I'm not saying that Big U has something to do with it, but one of his co-defendants is already on YouTube blaming him for this murder, and he's also indicted, but a lot of the other guys that's around them are indicted. And he said, man, we all know basically this ain't news to us. Like, we already knew. And the streets talk. So if you start indicting more and more people, somebody is going to talk, and there will be some type of evidence to tie him into that. And I'm not wishing any type of bad on these brothers. I wish these brothers the best. But a RICO of this size, and this is just a start, because what happens is you're gonna have a second wave, and then you may even have superseding indictments, which can get even scarier, because you will have an indictment, and then somebody else can have something going on and they tie you into it. And now you got a superseding indictment where this indictment going on over here and you fighting that case. And the feds come behind that and said, look, we have another situation where this came up, and now they superseding you and you fighting a whole nother indictment. And it's about to get crazy. Now, before Big U turned himself in, he talked about Wack 100. So I want to touch on Wack 100 and the other people like him. You guys are stirring up the pot, like consistently stirring up this pot. Y'all using the internet to do all the damage that you think it could do because you want to get your likes up, views up, subscribers up, and then you playing with people's lives. And um, I don't know how y'all think that this is okay when y'all supposed to be street guys. So this is what gets crazy on the internet. The internet is all about you speaking your mind, you building up a following or a fan base. But if you have to do that at the cost of your morals and your principles, then is it really worth it? Now, some of these guys are exactly who they are. I seen Charleston White on the stand when he was like 16 or 17. It was a video floating around of that. And he never denied that. And he felt like he was gonna be a super snitch either way it go. But there are people who are not street guys who we have lower expectations for. But there are guys who are claiming to be these type of people, but they're doing a lot of the things that the squares are doing. So I would never get on here and let somebody indict themselves. I would never get on any type of platform and allow somebody the opportunity to indict themselves. I'm going to kick you under the table. I'm going to do something to let you know, "Mm-mm, don't do that. Don't say that." I watched the interview with King Von and Young Dirt, and Young King Von had started to say, Young Dirt, like, basically, like I said, a little kick nudge. Look, bro, we not doing that. We not doing that. It's only so much you can say, right? It's only so much you can do, and once you open that door, you can't close it, right? So I talked about that. I had another thing I wanted to discuss. Um, Young Dirk. So I've met Young Dirt in the visiting room. I was locked up with his father. I was locked up with Big Dirk. So Lil Durk, I'm sorry, Young Dirk. Lil Durk, shout out to Lil Durk, man. Hopefully he holding his head in there. Shout out to Lil Durk. So I was locked up with Big Dirk and I was locked up with Shorty Doe. Shorty Doe is he was acting as like his manager or something. Shorty Doe, he on my page. But shout out to Shorty Doe, shout out to Big Dirt and those guys over there. Shout out to Lil Durk, man. Let's pray that Lil Durk holding his head, everything smooth in there. So I seen somebody saying, "Oh, Lil Durk was going, have a hard time in jail." I think it was Big Mike, one of those guys. Listen, respect goes a long way, y'all. So I seen somebody respond and say, people be fanned out and people be fanned out. And that's partially true. That's partially true. People are fanned out. Lil Durk is famous, so you get people in there that's gonna be like, "Oh, this Lil Durk." But respect goes a long way. It don't matter how famous you are if you not respected, right? And Lil Durk is not in the federal prison system yet, but Big Durk is highly respected. Lil Durk will be fine if he has to do federal time. Let's pray he get over this case and he get out and it's not what they make it out to be. But if he have to sit down, you don't got to worry about Lil Durk. Respect goes a long way. Respect goes a long way. So people who have never done federal time, they have all of these opinions about incarceration and different things like that. And state time is different than federal time. And you have people that have uh, unwarranted opinions about these types of things. And they say, "Oh, Lil Durk gonna like he's not gonna be pressed. He's not gonna happen." And it's not gonna happen because respect goes a long way. It goes a long way. Now, all of the fan stuff, that stuff can wear off. If you go to an institution and you are a celebrity, there may be other celebrities there. There may be people who are celebrities in their own right, and you become one of us. So if you don't have respect, then you're gonna get ran over. Excuse me. Everybody put the same Browns on. You're gonna be a regular person. And unless you are able to command your respect, you're gonna get ran over. And dude didn't come from no bad cloth, man. So we not gonna act like Lil Durk gonna go in a federal prison system and be some kind of soft. Like he didn't come from that type of cloth. And shout out to Big Durk and shout out to Shorty Doe. So I just wanted to say that because I seen that and I kind of like made a note to myself mentally, like I wanted to discuss that. People are you don't have to go in the federal system and be the I'ma stab everybody, Imma get a million tattoos on my face and be scary. Bro, respect go a long way. I haven't done time in the max and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, man, don't matter where you go, respect goes a long way. And I've done time since I was 11 years old, bro. And everybody gonna tell you, man, I'm on respect, right? I'm on respect, man. You know what I mean? And I understand that respect goes a long way, so y'all don't gotta worry about dirt. Now, if you guys have a topic that y'all want me to cover, I'll do that. I didn't want to be on here long. I just wanted to talk about the Big U and the Rolling 60s. And then I remembered about the Lil Durk situation. But I just wanted to give y'all some content. And I'm gonna get out of here, y'all. I got a lot of work to do. Shout out to my team, y'all. I got a whole team now. I love it. I love it, y'all. We turned up. We turned up. I can't wait till this new funnel done. We gonna get to the money. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all evening. I'm gonna tap back in maybe tomorrow or Saturday, and we gonna talk about something else. Um, and we can see what else up with the Big Meech situation. I know people like, man, Big Meech this, Big Meech that, and I've kind of been letting that play off a little bit because people was getting a little disrespectful, and I didn't want to be some of those guys that's making these podcasts, oh, Meech, 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 Meech all day. I'm not that type of person either. I'm not trying to capitalize off of whatever with Big Meech. I just address the situation and call things how I see it, like I just did with Big U and Luce Cannon and Bricc Baby and Nipsey and Wack 100 and Lil Durk and Big Durk, and shout out to Shorty though. So y'all enjoy y'all evening. Maybe tomorrow I'll come on here and we'll get an update of what's going on with Big Meech, because I know y'all want to hear my take on it, and I'm gonna make sure I give it to y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Worst case Saturday. I'm shooting for tomorrow though. I'll see y'all tomorrow.